Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm showing you 3 of my family's absolute favorite cookie recipes. These are perfect to make for Christmas, and I think Santa would love them. Now let's go ahead and get started. This first recipe is called candy cookies, and I got this recipe out of an old church cookbook of mine. I started out by melting 1 stick of butter in a large pot. And when you make this, it's better to have all your ingredients measured out and ready to go. To that melted butter, I added 2 cups of granulated sugar, about 1/4 of a cup of cocoa powder, and 1/3 cup of milk. Now whisk, then bring that mixture to a boil. You'll want to set a timer for this. I let it come to a rolling boil, and I let it continue to boil for 1.5 minutes. And as soon as that timer goes off, I turn off the heat and add in a heaping 1/3 of a cup of peanut butter, along with 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I quickly stirred that peanut butter around until it was very well combined. Then I added in 2.5 cups of shredded sweetened coconut and 1 cup of chopped pecans. Now work fast or that mixture will start to set up before you get it out of the pot. When everything was completely mixed together, I took it over to the counter where I had full laid out on the bar. You could also use wax paper, but I was out. And I just use a cookie scoop for these. I scooped out about 1.5 tablespoons of that mixture and dropped them onto the foil. And you can make these however big or small you like them. I usually get about 40 cookies out of this. These are great to give out as gifts, or you can save them all for yourself. And you can guess by the name of these. They're very sweet and very rich, but they are absolutely delicious. This next one is called kitchen sink cookies, and we love to make these for Santa. I started out with 1.5 sticks of butter that I melted and let cool until just warm. I also added in 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and 1 cup of packed brown sugar. Now mix that until it's all well combined. You can also mix this by hand too if you prefer. Then I added in 1 egg along with the eggshell there, but don't worry, I got it out. I also added in an egg yolk and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now give that another mix before we add in the dry ingredients. I added in 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I always sift that just to make sure there's no lumps. Now mix this until just combined. Make sure you don't see any dry spots of flour. Then it'll be time to add in the mix-ins. And this is why they call them kitchen sink cookies, because you add in everything but the kitchen sink. My daughters still don't quite get that though. And you can really add in any combination you like. But I like them with 1/2 cup each of crushed pretzels, chopped pecans, crushed potato chips, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and butterscotch chips. And I also added in a handful of the Christmas M&Ms and about 1/4 of a cup of the Christmas sprinkles. We gotta be a little festive here. I just folded those in by hand, and the batter is kind of thick. These do not have to chill, so we're ready to scoop them onto the baking sheet. I always use a cookie scoop. That way all the cookies are just about the same size. I scooped out about 2 tablespoons of that cookie dough. I don't roll these, I just drop them straight onto the baking sheet. Now I'll let these bake at 325 for 14 to 16 minutes. Just be careful not to overbake them. We like ours a little on the thick and chewy side. These cookies are so good, and you can change up the mix-ins and add anything you love. This last one is my daughter's absolute favorite. It's chocolate sugar cookies. You'll need 1 cup of softened butter, and please don't melt it like I did mine. It never fails. I always forget to set my butter out. I also added in 1 cup of granulated sugar and 1 cup of packed brown sugar. Cream that together until it starts to get light and fluffy. Then add in 2 large eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and y'all, next time I go to the store, I'm going to get me some pure vanilla extract. I mix that up until everything is well combined. Then I added in 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt, and I always try to sift these last 2 ingredients, and that was 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Sometimes I get clumps in mine, especially in that baking powder, and I'm not sure why. Now mix that until it's well combined. Now my dough was not as thick as it usually is, and I'm pretty sure it was because my butter was a little melted instead of softened. So after I got it mixed up really good, I scraped the sides of the bowl down. Then I put it in the refrigerator for about an hour to chill, just to thicken it up a little bit and so it was easier to roll into those balls. I used my 2 tablespoon size cookie scoop. I rolled this into a smooth ball, and I had about 1/2 of a cup of granulated sugar here. I rolled that ball around in it until it was completely covered. Then I placed it on a baking sheet that I have lined with a silicone mat. Then I repeated the process with the rest of the cookie dough. And I like to bake these about 9 cookies per baking sheet. They will spread out, and that way they don't run together. Now I do like to flatten the tops of these down a little. You can use a cup, a measuring cup, anything with a flat bottom. I don't squish them flat like a pancake, but I just gently press down on the top. Now these bake at 350 for only 7 to 8 minutes. They do puff up in the oven, and it looks like they're not quite done yet, but they are. They do fall and flatten a little after you take them out of the oven. Just don't overbake them. These cookies are so good, and my daughter likes to put Nutella in between 2 of these and make a little Nutella cookie sandwich. I really hope you enjoyed this video. You may also like these. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you in the next one.